Hey guys, in this video I'm going to show you the process of doing my doll's first face up. I used some pastels and I also used some watercolour pencils. Doesn't really matter the brand, just make sure that they're good quality really and that they don't have oil in them. I used a eraser, a pencil sharpener, this putty eraser as well. And I used a lot of brushes as well. This really thin one I bought from the Junkie Spot. It's made for painting on models and dolls. And I have some makeup brushes as well, which were really good. And just a whole bunch of paint brushes and things like that. I shaved out some of the colours of the pastels first so I could work with them easily. And then I just sort of went along with it. I will mention that I did use a sealant called Mr. Super Clear or MSC, and I did seal the doll's head twice before starting this, and that gives something for the pastels and the pencils to stick onto when you're painting on the face basically. And it also seals everything in between each layer. I'll explain a bit more about that as best as I can, but there are so many tutorials on how to do face-ups on the internet, and I'm going to stress that this isn't a tutorial, it's just a progress video. So as you can see, I started on the lips and I also did the insides of the ears. I was very tentative and nervous at the start because obviously I've never done one of these before. I was scared to mess up, but I found that you can easily erase anything that you do with an eraser. I like to use the putty eraser, especially around the lips and things like that, because it moulded itself to the shape of her face. I did use pencils in this bit here, but I did rub it out because I didn't like the way it looked. As I put on pastels and things, I blew off the excess powders and things like that, which is where I lifted the doll's head away from the camera, so I'm sorry if it's a bit jumpy and shaky and you can't really tell what's going on. Again, I've never done one of these before, so it's a learning process for all of us. I just slowly built up the colours, did them in slow layers, things like that. I found it was best to do it in layers of light colour rather than going straight for the dark colour, because it just looks better. I think I spent the most time on the lips because I kept not liking what I'd done and erasing it, as you can see there, and I kept making mistakes, so I am happy with the outcome of them though. So after I got enough colour on the lips that I liked, I still wasn't finished with them, but I decided to start on the blush. So yeah, I just took some pink pastels and did the blush very carefully. So obviously it went on her cheeks. I did put a bit on her chin, on her nose and her forehead as well. I just wanted to do that, no real reason really, I just wanted some extra colour on her face. It gave her a bit more life, I think. But I did add the most colour onto her cheeks. I found that makeup brushes were really good for this, and they are oftentimes cheaper than paintbrushes from an artist shop and things like that, so I did find them very useful. I did try and colour in her nostrils using these brushes as well, but it was kind of difficult. I can't remember if I actually put any colour in the nostrils or not. I think I did a little bit with pencil, but that was later on in the process. So then I started on her eyelids as well, on her eyeshadow. I used mostly pink colours for this. I did use a bit of light brown as well. I wanted a very natural look for her. I didn't want to go too overboard because I don't know, I just wanted it to look very natural and simple. So I used different brushes and different colours and just built up the colour over time. also used cotton buds or Q-tips as well. They're very handy to have around as well, so make sure you have some of those as well. I used a pencil in her eyelid creases. I'm not sure if I like how this turned out. I would probably do it a bit differently if I did it again, but I just wanted to define the creases to make her eyes look a bit more real. I just used it a bit on her lips and nose as well. So for her eyebrows, I used pastels using an angled brush. I can't even speak. I just sort of did the shapes roughly, and then I could use an eraser to erase out any parts I didn't like. Kind of like doing real eyebrows, where you pluck the hairs you don't want. I just used an eraser to erase the parts of the eyebrows that I didn't want. They are uneven, but then again, real eyebrows aren't even, so it kind of gives them a bit more realism, I think. I don't know. But you can see I just used an eraser to rip out bits I didn't want. I did them in brown, by the way, even though her wig is pink, just so I could change out her wig if I wanted to and still have it look natural. It kind of makes her hair look dyed, which I think looks good because you don't really get natural pink hair unless you're in an anime. Then use pencils. You have to make sure they're really sharp for this, by the way, and I drew a line over the pastel marks that I had made. I turned the doll upside down to make sure that they look fairly even. It was kind of easy to do it like that. Then I did little hairs along the line. You can kind of see it here, just to make it look like she has proper eyebrow hairs. I did it again with a darker pencil as well. I don't know why, I just did. There's no reason behind my colour choices here, I just did them because I like them, basically. You can do pretty much anything you want, as long as you like it, basically. I did a bit more eyeshadow here and did the lips. I did lines on the lips using a pink pencil. Again, the pencil has to be very sharp for all of this. Make sure it's very sharp. Have a good sharpener on hand for that. I added lines to the lips just to make them look more realistic. I think it worked. I think it looked quite okay. So that's what she looks like. I gave her a final seal before starting on her eyeliner. I used black acrylic paint for this and that really thin brush which I showed you at the beginning from the junkie spot. I'm sure you can buy model painting brushes in model shops and things like that. But I just did it very carefully. I actually made a mistake on this eye, but I found that a Q-tip dipped in water is very good at removing acrylic paint mistakes, especially when the paint is still wet. As long as you've sealed the underlayers with MSC, then it won't rub off any of the pastel, which is great. So that's what they look like for now. I did add a bit more eyeliner, added little wings at the sides. It's not the neatest, but for my first attempt I don't think it looks too bad. I just give the eye a bit more shape and it looks alright. I tried to do bottom eyelashes with the paint, but I didn't like it, so I rubbed it off and I did them again with pencil. Again, I didn't like it, so I did it with a lighter pencil after this, and again I still didn't really like it. I probably should have just not done bottom eyelashes at all because it didn't really look right. Maybe one day I'll get the hang of it looking better, but it just looks a bit weird to me. You don't have to do bottom eyelashes, of course. I just wanted to. And that is what she looked like. So I gave her a final seal, although I did test an eye in her just to see what it would look like. It looks a bit creepy when you just have one eye in there, but she looked very pretty, so I kept it. I was happy with how it looked, and I also tried her wig on just to see what that looked like as well. Not too bad. And so I gave her that final seal with the sealant, the Mr. Super Clear MSC. I used Mr. Super Clear flat or matte. I got it from eBay. I will leave a blog post in the description talking more in detail about this. So I used some white PVA glue and some human false eyelashes. I have really thin, small eyelashes, which is great for the doll. And after cutting them to size, I used a toothpick to apply some of the white glue into the eye. It dries clear, so it's okay to use. I wouldn't use super glue because it can erode the doll, and I wouldn't use anything like really strong glue like A6000 because you might not be able to get the eyelashes off when you want to remove them. I used tweezers to stick them in there, just like putting on real false eyelashes. It took a little while to get them stuck on there. I held them in place and blew on them to let the glue dry, and there she is, complete! I added some gloss on her lips, just the same gloss I used for polymer clay. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. I only used one coat, so it was okay. And this is what she looks like when she's all assembled with her wig and her eyes, and you know what? I'm really proud of it. It's my first face up, so it's obviously not perfect, but I think she looks really pretty. She looks a lot better than she did when she was just plain, and I just love seeing the colour on her lips and on her face and things like that. Just gives her more, I don't know, more of a nice look, I think. So I'm really proud of this. Again, I'll leave my blog post in the description about this, where I talk in a bit more better detail, I think, about what products I use and things like that, so make sure you go check that out. Here's some pictures as well, so you can kind of see a bit better her face, I guess. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too boring. If you're not interested in dolls, I'm sorry. I'll have more crafting things soon for you, but if you like dolls, let me know, and I will probably do some more videos on her. So thank you so much for watching, and I will see you guys next time.